What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we are going to be taking a good look at the Sig P365 XL. Before I do that, I want to mention my patron supporters. Thank you guys very much. Because of you guys supporting the channel, we do a monthly giveaway for guns and gear related items. This month is going to be an Ontario knife. If you want to be a part of that giveaway, or if you want to see patron exclusive content, all you got to do is go down in the description below, click the link, and become a supporter. I also want to mention there's Amazon links down there to my store with all my cool stuff I use on the range. You can pick that up easy. Just click the link there. The Old Light link's down there as well. There is a discount code for you to use, and a local homeless shelter that I like to support in Ames, Iowa. If you want to do something awesome today, go down there and donate to those kids. They could use your help. Now, the P365 XL. This is a gun I was pretty excited to review. I actually got this from a buddy of mine, KS Gun Guy. I sent him some guns for review. He sent me some guns for review. I got this and the X5, and so far it has not disappointed. This is the bigger version of the very, very popular P365, which is a gun well known for having a very large magazine capacity in a very small package. All they've done here really is fix a couple issues, which we'll talk about, lengthen the barrel, and give you a 15 round magazine, which is pretty cool. For those who are not familiar with the P365 XL, we'll put the flush fit mag in it here. The P365 is a striker fired pistol with a 3.7 inch barrel, and it weighs about 20 ounces, making it very small and very light for carry while still packing a 12 to 15 round magazine capacity, which is on par with guns like the Glock 19, if you can even believe that, even though if you'd feel this gun in person, it feels about half the size. It's very thin, and it has a kind of revolutionary magazine which allows it to carry more capacity. Kind of a staggered stacked magazine. Comes with a flat face trigger as shown here. Good texture, front slide serrations, comes with a awesome set of sights right from the factory, tritium and high definition, which is phenomenal. It has a red dot mount for the new Sig Romeo, I believe. I don't know, I'm not into Sig optics, but if you are into this pistol and you would like to put an optic on it, I believe that's the one you need to get. The screws for the red dot mount, I believe, are actually underneath the slide, so you have to disassemble the slide to put the red dot on. Kind of weird, but I've heard that it is doable. However, I did not try it. It actually comes with a couple of features you wouldn't expect on a carry gun. As I said, the flat face trigger that breaks at 90 degrees, which is really good even if you have big hands because the grip's extremely small, which we'll talk about here in a second. And it also comes with a beveled mag well, which is something Glocks took 5 generations to do and barely do well. But Sig managed to pop this guy out on the first generation of the XL. So let's get right into reliability here, which is the mainstay of semi-automatic pistols. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter how accurate or how ergonomic it is, because the damn thing needs to work, which is why reliability is always our first pick for categories of review. And I put 1,000 rounds for this pistol with no problems, and honestly I'm kind of happy about that. The Sig P365 had some issues with durability, long-term durability, with strikers breaking, springs wearing out, things of that nature, and from all accounts, including my own, I have seen very little evidence of that in this gun, so it appears that they have fixed that for the P365 XL, which is pretty sweet. So now you don't have to worry about putting 2,000-3,000 rounds through your gun and having to break it or not working and that type of thing, having any crazy striker drag or anything like that. So the P365, as far as reliability and durability, seems really good to go, which is actually what I expected and mentioned in my P365 review. I figured the next generation, I didn't know it was going to be bigger, but I figured the next generation would have those problems fixed or at least addressed, and they have done that. Now, accuracy, I have to say, for the size of pistol that this is, it's pretty accurate. Well, we're hitting that big one. Let's see if we can hit those real small ones. That's pretty good. The problem I have with the accuracy with this gun is the size of the grip. I got big old bear claws, as I mentioned in a lot of videos. People get upset, but it's relative to the argument, because if you have smaller hands, you'll be able to shoot this gun much better because the grip is extremely small. The smallest grip I've ever seen on a 15-round magazine gun. It's crazy small. Not just the length. The length is nice, but the circumference of the grip and the distance between the trigger and the web of your hand is very, very small. As you can see here, if I actually get a firing grip, there is no room whatsoever for my left hand. So my left hand, which does the majority of the recoil control, believe it or not, most people think it's your right, it's really your left squeezing down like a vice, has a real problem getting any real estate on this gun.
Yeah, I like it. Ready?
Yeah. Jesus, that was good.
The reset is a little long. It's kind of throwing me off, but I do like it.
Is it weird that you just turned me on when you talked about reset?
I noticed that in adverse conditions. I took this gun out 2 or 3 times when it was nice, and then once when it was totally not nice, and I also had a cold during that, and I felt miserable, and it was miserable outside, and my shooting went to hell. Now, it didn't go to hell with all guns. I shot the Taurus G3, believe it or not, right after this, and it was easier to shoot for me because the grip on the Taurus is better and because the trigger on the Taurus is better. This is a good trigger, but it's not a great trigger. And the sights are really, really good, but like I said, it's hard for me to get a very good firing grip and not tweak that trigger because my finger goes so far into the trigger when I'm trying to do it. A lot of times if you have too long of a trigger finger, you can kind of mess with your trigger pull with your grip and kind of hold your grip into place. I'm not able to do that with this pistol. So in the wind and the cold, 50 yards plus, I had some issues. However, most people won't experience that, and honestly, if I had smaller hands or in a little bit closer or even in good conditions, it was very, very accurate. I was able to hit when it wasn't 30 mile-an-hour winds and below zero. Well, it wasn't below zero, but it was like 20 degrees, and I had a cold. When it wasn't those conditions, I could hit at 75 yards with very little issue, which is great for a gun this size. As I said, this damn thing's only 20 ounces, and it's only 3.7 inches long. It's still a very concealable gun, considering the capacity. So overall, I'd give the accuracy, I don't know, an 8? Especially considering the overall size of the gun. However, I still did have trouble shooting it, and if you have bigger hands or if you're a bigger guy, you might as well. Now, getting into ergonomics, well, we'll get into shootability first. So the shootability of the gun, again, suffered because of the smaller grip for me. As I mentioned, I didn't have a good enough grip on the pistol to really control the recoil. It's not near as snappy as a 365, which is super nice, actually, considering the size. Just that little bit of extra barrel and that little bit of extra grip length that you can wrench down on really increases the speed of the gun. However, comparatively to something like a Glock 19, because people keep comparing this gun online to the Glock 19. I don't actually have one on me right now, but the Glock 19 is significantly bigger than this gun, so obviously it shoots better. The Glock 19 is going to be heavier, it's going to have a bigger grip, and it's just going to be overall a more shootable pistol. For the size, however, as I would compare this to something like maybe a Shield with a magazine extension, it's very controllable. It is a very good shooting pistol for the size and for the application that you are going to be using this pistol for. And what would you get this pistol for? Well, number one, you get it for concealed carry, right? I didn't mention that before I go into that, usually before this, but I would say it could flex into home defense. I would look for better options, especially if you're going to get an all-around type handgun that you really want to use for home defense, you really want to use for concealed carry. I'd get a damn Glock 19, M&P Compact, CZP-07, CZP-10, something a little bit bigger than this. But if you're going to predominantly use it for carry and occasionally use it for home defense, pretty good option. The ergonomics on the pistol are nice. Aside from the small, super small grip, which, again, a lot of people are going to like, the texture on the gun is actually really good. It's a good mix between carry and able to use, similar to the 365. Not as good as an M&P, but still pretty good. Magazine release works well and is very intuitive. The slide release is in a pretty good spot and works well as well. You can see here. It works really well. I don't want to drop it on the empty round with KS's gun. The sights are awesome. The front slide serrations work really well. As I said, the trigger is good, not great, but it's certainly better than a stock Glock 30 or Glock 43, for example, or a car, anything car makes, because car sucks. But I wouldn't say it's good. The little notch here for your finger, traditionally I don't like finger grooves, but that's in a really good spot. The trigger undercut is done very well. And as I said, the beveled magwell you probably are not going to need, but it is a nice touch. Comes with the red dot mount, which again doesn't work for like an RMR or a Leopold, I believe. I believe it just works for the Sig Romeo, but that's better than nothing, and on most concealed carry guns of this size and weight, you're not even going to have that. I've heard that this little open chamber indicator can cause debris to stick on your red dot if you choose to run that. However, I have no experience with that personally. Overall, the gun is pretty awesome for what it is. You can get this gun for around $600. I saw it at my local big box store over at Shields in Cedar Falls, and that's a pretty good deal. I know that it comes in significantly more than its competitors, but it also comes in with a lot of features that you're just not going to get from a Glock 43 or for an M&P Shield or for something like that. Number one, you're going to get the double stack or the staggered magazine. You're going to get higher magazine capacity. You're going to get front slide serrations, good nitron coating, awesome sights right out of the box, pretty good texture, and a pretty reasonable trigger. Overall, if you're a SIG guy, I would say that this is a guaranteed good choice for concealed carry. I had some reservations from the P365, the original, because of some of the durability issues long term that I had seen other people have, and then I had evidence on my gun. But this gun doesn't have that, and it's basically the same gun, especially in the grip, which is really the hard part to conceal. And what you're going to gain out of that is a little bit extra sight radius and a little bit less recoil impulse, while still not having a long enough barrel to really bother your junk if you're appendix carrying, or bothering you while you're sitting in a car if you're saying carrying 3 or 4 o'clock. So overall, I think it's a superior gun than the 365, and it's one of the best guns that has hit the carry market in a long time, my big hand bias aside. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you want to see a versus video with this and any other gun that you've seen on the table recently, feel free to let me know, and I'll check you later.